What's up, y'all? This is Campson, the Oracle, one half of Remnants Gathering. Weirdo gang, gang. Y'all already know what it is. This is the next part to I guess you would say, me kind of putting together proof of the communication between me and Kobe's spirit. So, without further ado, let's see if we can jump right into this, and hopefully it goes smooth and we don't have no issues, because this is really good and I really want to go to bed, but Kobe he is just like, no, it's time. But I just want to say, when for some of you who maybe don't operate in mediumship or may not be at the point where I am using my intuitive gift within the collective of souls, you know what I'm saying? Because there's really no separation, right? Everything is one, you know what I'm saying? Everything is everything. All is mind and mind is all. It's all mental. We're all connected. So I just want to say, when I say spirit communication, I mean that this is information that he brings to me, and I've been researching it and finding it to be true and accurate. So yes, I can be sure that I'm communicating with his spirit because of the personality, because of his character, because of the synchronicities, because of the messages and the proof of everything that he tells me. Now, you know, y'all could be like, well, it could be a trickster doing that. Well, whatever. But the point is that the message that he wants to get out gets out, you know. So I'm not even thinking that hard into this. I feel the connection with him tonight. And even though I wanted to go to sleep, Kobe, that kind of person, you know, that's just, you don't stop being how you are when you leave your physical 3D body. And he's just like, no, I'm talking to you now. I would like for you to do it. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. So Kobe, he had something called mastering your craft, right? And he talked about how he used dark energy, anger, resentment, frustration, sadness, grief to channel that energy into basketball. And once he discovered that, he, like, from that point forward, his passion was just something just out of this world. It literally consumed him. He was so filled with compassion. He was like the fucking burning bush. You know what I'm saying? He was so filled with that fire energy, and he learned how to transmute darkness. So in high school, Kobe wore the number 33 at one point. And I was looking at the documentary, and it would take me too long to go find the documentary, edit, put it in here. I'm not going to do all of that. I'm going to give y'all the information. And then if you feel up to it, you are more than welcome to go and find this documentary with him expressing how his love for basketball became a thing. And so he got bullied and picked on a lot. He was tall and skinny and lanky, and he moved to a new neighborhood. He was going through some stuff. And once he learned how to channel that energy, he began to master the game of basketball. So yes, he wore the number 33, and you know that's a master number. So he became a master builder. He was on a God frequency, even at that tender young age, transmuting darkness into light. Little information on master number 33. The master number brings a higher vibration and an intensity that is undeniable. It ups the ante substantially and means you've come with a higher spiritual purpose, however you define it. You could feel high strong when working with a master number, especially if it's your life path number. Now, I use this number because this is what he was pointing out to me. Anybody can do the numerology of his birthday, but this is what he was pointing out to me was specific. So it may feel like there's a constant push and a pull to do more and to do better, be better, sometimes to the point of distraction. You might also notice that you hold higher expectations for yourself, even when others can't see those feelings cropping up in you. So a master number ultimately means you're here to master your life. It indicates you will have some intense challenges and even more significant strengths. When you are in alignment, you are family-oriented, idealistic, responsible, artistically creative, supportive, devoted, loving, sensible, helping and healing others on a grand scale, supremely creative, a masterful communicator, performing selfless service with joy and with a heightened level of emotional self-expression. When you are out of alignment, when this number is associated with you, you may be a perfectionist, critical, idealistic to a fault, self-righteous, meddling, irresponsible, indulgent, non-committal, self-absorbed, prone to addictions, self-destructive through elevated self-righteousness, and demanding perfectionism. Sound like anybody y'all know? Now, the number he wore for the Lakers, I think it was 8 for a time, but 24 was the first one that came to me. The numerology meaning of the number 24 means energy, responsibility, affection, readiness for self-sacrifice. Keep listening. You are an exception from the rule that the being, capital B, determines the consciousness. Wow. So these numbers literally encompass who he was, his spiritual purpose, and what he set out to accomplish. Now, mastering his craft was him mastering himself. And he was going to teach this, and it was changing the world. The way I visualize it when I was communicating with him was it was a ripple. And I could see this rock hit this huge body of water, and this ripple just continue on for infinity. That is the impact that he was having on the world. And what happens is once the elite, once the rulers of the world that we're presently under, the powers that be, they have to keep an eye on you. And Kobe had mastered himself to the point of being elevated to a god. Now, this same potential could have been there for the Doctor, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, a lot of other great athletes. However, some of the differences were he could not be controlled. They couldn't control him. And so because of this definitely made him more of a threat than someone else because he was uncontrollable. It was like, with Jordan, Michael Jordan dad, you know what I'm saying? He got knocked off. It was traumatic. It kind of put him, all right, don't get out your place. Bill Cosby had the same potential as well. This is energy. This is a frequency. This is the God frequency. And these men had entered into this. So they have to keep an eye on you and tabs on you, not through your devices, but through your actual cellular makeup. Okay? They can even watch your epigenetics and watch the way your children are going to be and predict that and predict the changes. I think Project Looking Glass was a project that was used in this manner with time travel and with the agenda of the elites and setting and aligning and going back and making changes where necessary. Okay? So he used dark emotions or dark magic, what we would call it. And he specifically talks about this in an interview. Instead of me trying to edit all of this, I'm going to put it in the description and let y'all check it out. Now, and the title is Kobe Bryant's Muse, The Darker Emotions. Now, he understood astrology, the as above, so below. And he was a very conscious starseed. He was a deep metaphysician. He absolutely knew about the healing power of colors and specifically the violet flame. And he was teaching this to children. And much like Aaliyah and Left Eye, they got into occult teachings and self-healing and things like that. And they wanted to bring that to the masses. But death typically ensues. Just like with Prince, Third Eye Girl, his band, his last album, Lotus, like they began dropping these stones, these gems into the water of consciousness, and it creates these ripples. And if it's something that's going to get in the way of what the powers that be are doing, would have to do away with you. But Kobe specifically told me that he already knew, and he wasn't concerned about that because he did exactly what he needed to come here to do. And he made sure to tell me, that's not stopping nothing. Just because I don't have a 3D body, I'm more capable of doing things now than I ever was before. This is how he was communicating with me. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt it's him, So he was going to do something called the Game of Stars as well. Okay. And I'm going to let you all check that out. I'll put that link in the description. But this was going to be very powerful for awakening gods and goddesses. Okay. Now, some of his books, he was supposed to release his stuff in March of 2020. I realized that Kobe was like rewriting the 10 Commandments using metaphysics and occult esoteric teachings. He was rewriting the first 5 books of the Bible using these teachings. He was integrating so many different things that he had mastered. And when you get to the point that you master yourself in spiritual areas, physical areas, emotionally, relationship areas, success, it was like he just came here to check shit off the list. And he had mastered so much of himself that he was on God frequency prior to. And the elites knew it was nothing they could do to control this man. Powerful stuff. Powerful. So let me skip on down to the meat, okay? That was kind of like the introduction, connecting you to the last ones I did to lead you into this one. Now, I'm going to get straight into the video game, because the video game that I came across from the song that was used in the commercial with him and the mouse, the rat. Remember Year of the Rat? Chinese New Year 2020, the year he died? Okay. Well, the song that was used in there just kept standing out to me. And so I began researching the lyrics to this song. And as I researched the lyrics to this song, I came across a video game. Now, old school RuneScape wiki is where I got the information from. The name of the song was Catch Me If You Can, okay? And I found it really interesting that the particular quest that this game has, the name of the quest is Rat Catchers. Y'all hear this, right? The name of the quest is Rat Catchers. And you'll see it on the screenshot here. Alright, so back to the game. Catch Me If You Can. Song lyrics led me to this game. The quest of the game is Rat Catchers. 2020 is the year of the rat, year of the mouse, according to the lunar calendar. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that stood out, and you'll see this screenshot here as well. The release date for this game was April 30th, 2002. Why is that significant? Well, we know death by numbers. You want to pay attention to numbers, because numbers is actually the fabric of what we call time and space and reality. So 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 equals 11. I kept finding this 9/11 synchronicity with Kobe, which makes me realize this was as impactful as 9/11. Okay, so this, you know, there are levels and dimensions and different depths to different things. And if I was to find something that this was very close to energetically, yeah, Kobe was on the level of those towers. Like, absolutely. And so 9/11 kept showing up. Now, another thing that stood out, and you can see this here, under teleportation, sounds a lot like, I ain't gonna get into that, but we know what teleporting means, okay? And then I hear transportation, teleportation. So you'll see synchronicities with words as well, okay? It's not just numbers. Now, the portal chamber of POH was where the teleportation took place. And we know that, of course, Kobe definitely teleported to a higher dimension, to a whole new kingdom. And all of these words are right here. I didn't even look at Baroque, the main music that's used for this. I didn't even look it up, but I can guarantee you it's going to be something to connect to something else. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the fairy ring that you see down here, I didn't highlight it because I wasn't sure it meant something until I saw the connection with him calling his production company Granite or Granite. And y'all remember from the Albert Wyman meditation, granite is heavily associated with fairies, and this is something that they use to help us here on earth. Now, here's why the portal, because a portal was created with his death to teleport to a higher dimension. When you think of chambers, right, you think of the kingdom, the mansions, things like that when you hear the word chambers. Now, here's the connection. A Comedy Central cartoon from 2016 eerily depicted basketball legend Kobe Bryant crashing in a helicopter, a form of teleportation. Just keep listening. So the show called Legends of Chamberland. Y'all see this? So we got Portal, Chamber, and Legends of Chamberland. Heights. Can't leave that out. because Kobe definitely reached heights that no human had reached in a really long time. Don't get it twisted. They was paying attention to all of that. Okay? Now, that is the connection between those things. The next screenshot you see here, the Port Khazard. Again, this is all information centered around those song lyrics that led me to this video game. I don't know the name of it. I don't play video games. But, maybe y'all know. But Port Khazard, what does that sound like to you? Khazard? Khazars? The people who run entertainment. The people who are typically the powers that be. So this is how a lot of these connections are created. Now, something else that stood out was that the mysterious plague affecting the inhabitants, of this city. And this city is called the Plague City. Well, what plague started mysteriously affecting inhabitants around the exact same time of his rising in power? Because he ain't died. He just took a whole new form that's way more powerful. He laughing right now because he was like, they really didn't stop anything. Me being out of that damn 3D body actually makes it a lot easier for me to accomplish things. He told me that. But again, the coronavirus, you see the timing? So there are levels to magic. And when you put something out in the media, when you put it in front of people and masses see it, it gives power. It's kind of like creating a sigil for everybody to give attention to and look at. And they don't even realize that their sigil is being charged by your energy because you're paying attention to it. This is the kind of magic that is used on us, right? And we call it consumerism. We call it retail, But magic is always being done 24/7. Whether you practice or don't practice or not, it is always happening. So that was the next connection. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. This is just so amazing. So the blue and white, which is the year of the day that's associated with the new year of the mouse or the rat, right? And somebody mentioned how the colors, first of all, the colors. And so you got the blue and white. Again, we told y'all it was associated with the year of the rat, another alignment. Now, the next part of this video game stood out as well. I'm just going to read it and you tell me what parts you feel resonate with Kobe and his character. But it talks about 2 banks and a prayer altar. Remember, he went to church right before he got into the helicopter, right? It's all connecting. And Kobe had such a high level of understanding, he didn't have an issue going to church. Some people are like, well, if he knew metaphysics and he was using alchemy and dark magic, why did he go to church? Well, y'all have to realize when you get to that God frequency, those type of environments doesn't cause cognitive dissonance. It doesn't irritate you or anything because you understand that everything is energy. So even though someone may not be saying, I am an extension of source, their language may be, I am a child of God. Someone may not be saying, I am awakening to Christ's consciousness on their level of understanding based on their soul and its purpose here. They may say, I'm a child of Jesus. I'm a child of Christ. And so he was at that level where he could go and participate with whoever and still hold on to who he was. So these are some of the things that he was helping me to understand. Now, one of the things that stood out, the word furnace, of course, and they said that a brush fire was started when the helicopter went down. It talked about the water sources. Again, we know the water energy. He was showing me the visualization of the rock hitting the water and causing these ripples, right? Then it goes into talking about wizards and Brimhaven, teleporting, Rune City, the essence. It talks about these legends, these it's like this in this city, but it's the city that's dedicated to these legends. And remember, this is what he was, a living legend, but he was wanting to pass that on to leave a legacy. The Plague City, again, you see this in here. Then you also have the Tower of Life. Remember, he got the book with the Tree of Life, the epoch on the front of it. That's the next connection. It talked about the Necromancer Tower and the Clock Tower. What did I tell y'all? The number kept coming up. 911. Those are the towers right there. Clock tower. That is, pay attention to the timing of what happened when I transitioned, if you want to know the truth. And then you have necromancer tower. And again, he was the kind of person, he could deal with dead people. And it wasn't an issue for him because of his frequency, his discipline, and his vibration. Now, one other thing that stood out was outpost, and that's a term that's used in playing basketball. And then you also have making history, which he had done. He also had been studying under a lot of Zen practices and Zen teachers. So when I saw the word monk's friend here, it also made me associate it with Kobe. All right. Now, the agility course. Players with 90 agility can use the rooftop course by climbing the wooden beams near the house closest to the gym stall. The course finishes next to a crate directly south of the gym stall. It is currently the highest level course in the game. Was he not at the highest level course in this thing that's a game that we call life? He had figured it out. He had the exact equation necessary for success in this 3D matrix and able to supersede the traps and programming of this matrix. Man, this is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. So remember the 9/11. Here we go. So this is an interview that he did, okay? And in this interview, they were discussing some of the things that was happening in his life. Now, this is what Kobe says. He says, we were in the house and talking about it as a family. And my little 11-year-old Gianna goes, well, Dad, you always tell us to go after our dreams. So man up. She's 11, Kobe says. Man up. So I had to man up and go for it. Y'all see this? So you see the 11, you see the twin towers again that look like two wands. The number 11 is always a portal or a gateway. Are y'all seeing the synchronicities here? All right. And then she, the divine feminine that manifests, incarnated into his life as his daughter, basically was helping him to level up. Pay attention. Conscious parenting is about allowing the things that irritate you about your children to help you to level up, to man up, to woman up, and go for the things that you believe in, the dreams that you didn't get a chance to have because you had children or whatever it may be. So this is what the divine feminine is doing for the divine masculine right now on earth. Yeah, I know it's good. I know. I can't take the credit, but this is great. Okay, so he's talking a little bit more, and I put on the screenshot here. Just look at the way he supported his daughter, the divine feminine, carrying on the legacy. Not a son, he wasn't even stuck in it. He wasn't stuck in a lot of those programs we've been stuck in about gender and stuff like that. All right, so here's a screenshot of the book, the Wisnard or Wisnard series training camp. Look at the front of the book. I see a basketball, but I also see a atom. I also see something that reminds me of quantum physics on the front of this book. I also see a black hole on the front of this book, i.e. dark magic. I could keep going, but again, you see the compass on the front of this book? Y'all see the compass for the letter A? He knew exactly what he was doing. You see the names associated with this book? It was written by Wesley King. Remember in the video game, it kept mentioning the king of that particular city and those levels within that game. So you're always going to see, when you're trying to learn how to decode things, this is helping you to see what you look for. Here's a screenshot of the tree again that I mentioned to you guys. As above, so below. Now, back to the description of the book, okay? Kobe Bryant comes a new tale of finding your strength against all odds. Now, in here, the Tree of Ecroft is a story of two children, the lowly born Rovi and the crowned princess. Yeah, remember the violet flame? Remember the ascended master, the princess Tara that's associated with it? Okay, but he named her Pratia, who uncover and battle terrible evil and discover their inner strength along the way. The next thing that stood out, when Rovi and Pratia arrived, each harboring a secret about themselves, they began to suspect that something evil is at play at the school. Y'all have to remember, school is synonymous with university. University is synonymous with the universe. He realized the aspects of this universe that were wicked and stopping people who maybe grew up in a lower socioeconomic status, not as much money. And he was directing this to raising people up who maybe were born into a very lowly state, because he was able to come from that and become very successful. Okay, so peep game. So in the course of their first year, they must learn to master their grana in order to save the world from dark forces that are rising. Okay, let's keep it moving. So again, if I'm not mistaken, he had 4 kids. I want to say he didn't have any sons. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Just drop a comment below. But again, this is just proving the connection that he had in his soul contract with the divine feminine. And he was really sticking really closely to his daughter. She was like the mama mentality, like model for that. And he felt like he needed to create content for his children. He was like having 4 daughters at home. It was like, I need to create content for my children myself. Again, you can't even think like this until you tap into that God frequency, that God consciousness. And he had definitely did that. And the manifestation of the divine feminine, the powerful number 4 that's associated with it, is what motivated him to do all of this. That's huge. That's huge, especially for a man who went to court and was blamed for rape and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's huge. As far as I'm concerned, like, this is clearing karmic debt with the divine feminine on a whole other level. When you say, you know what, I want to be responsible for the things that entertain my children, to the point that I'm going to take the time out to do the work and publish it and make this available for them and other children to uplift them. I just think that's amazing. And so he was already on the level of being a god before he left his body. All right, so back to the game. Catch Me If You Can. Song lyrics led me to this game. The quest of the game is Rat Catchers. 2020 is the year of the